will shoot this one at you from way downtown. Cool as the other side of the pillow. Joe's getting ready for the best leg in Coon Rapids contest, and you can bet that Red will be in the house. We can make one promise, and that is you're going to fall for this show. So save everyone a seat. Sports Night is next.
How do I follow that up?
I know you came in third. Yeah.
Well, fortunately, there were only two other competitors.
And one was a three-legged dog. So, yeah.
Well, thanks, everybody, for joining us. I'm Joe Young. That's Howie Shapiro.
Thank you.
And Sports Night. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Some really exciting things to talk about.
You know, things are starting to heat up a little bit. We're getting midway through some seasons, and it's getting exciting. We've got a lot on the docket as well.
Yeah, and the next couple of weeks, obviously, going to be very exciting as we start to see the conclusion to some seasons, getting into playoffs right around the corner already.
It is, and as every season goes quickly, that's how much older we get, you and I. Right. So it just goes by. Time ticks by.
That's the way it happens. We're going to start the show with some of the most exciting news of the week, and that is the boys hockey team scoring a big win in conference play, beating the Irondale Knights 3-2 in this one. Mike Fredrickson had 2 goals, including the game winner with just 2 seconds left on the clock. Jake Kellner getting in on all 3 goals as well. He assisted on every last one of them. Travis Hess had a goal and an assist. Nick Gervais got himself an assist as well. Zach St. John made 31 saves to get the Cardinals that win. It was a long time coming.
It was.
And talking to assistant coach Tony Hurdy Saturday before their game, I ran into him at the rink. Talked to him a little bit, and he was saying just how well they were playing, really fired up, kept their feet moving, and just kept the pressure on Irondale all game long, and that was, he said it was really a lot of fun to see.
And you also talked to Coach Mo, and things are starting to come for this squad. It's taken a little time, and and they're trying to build things, but it's starting to maybe go the right way.
Well, we will talk a little bit more about my discussion with Coach Mo after we talk about their Saturday game. Cardinals feeling pretty good after finally getting the taste of victory, and they were looking to make it 2 in a row when they traveled to Totino on Saturday. The Eagles won the first meeting between these two teams 3-1, and they were also coming in off of a win, but this was clearly a beatable team, especially if the Cardinals could keep up the intensity and momentum they had shown in the win over Irondale. Coach Mo expecting his team to compete and definitely answer the call in the first. Totino on the power play. Cardinals break it up the blue line. Jake Kellner takes advantage. He gets into the slot, beats the keeper with a strong wrist shot, puts his Cardinals on the board first. That's exactly what the team needed to put some pressure on the Eagles. But Totino does have the answer. Just over 3 minutes later, a little back and forth along the boards. Blake Bagley has the room, takes it to the slot, beats St. John with a shot top shelf to even this one up at a goal apiece. But this was the Cardinals period, possibly the best period the team has played in years. Their continued pressure pays off. Brett Johnson making this one look easy on the backhand. Coon Rapids has a 2-1 lead after 1. They outshot the Eagles 18-9 in the first, but things, unfortunately, completely change after that. Totino coming out with a lot more speed in the second, even it up just over a minute in. Jacob Gunnarsson gets around the defender, beats St. John high to the glove side, and that makes it 2-2. Momentum clearly shifting to the home team, and they take the lead late in the second. Big hit at center ice, frees up the puck for Bagley. He races around the corner, slides a backhander through the 5-hole, and that makes it a 3-2 lead for the Eagles going to the third. And they would never look back. They dominated the second, out shooting the Cardinals 20-4, and it was more of the same in the third. Finally get the insurance goal about midway through. St. John sprawls out to make about 3 saves, but there's no chance on the fourth. Joey Bray finally getting it to the twine, make it a 4-2 lead. They add one more as the Eagles soar to the 5-2 win. Now, I did talk to Coach Mo on Sunday, and I asked, what happened? He said, I really have no idea. Best period, he said, that they have played without question all season long. And, we who have been watching them a little more closely for a lot of years, possibly the best period they've played in 5, 6, 7 years. Who knows? But they played really well in that first. He said in the locker room, he told them, just keep doing what you're doing. Totino's going to come out. They're going to get physical. They're going to bring more speed. They were a little flat in that first period. Expect them to come out stronger and harder, and you have to maintain the intensity you've had and match their speed in the second, and we will be just fine. And unfortunately, the Eagles did bring that physical pressure and got the Cardinals second guessing a little bit, get them back on their heels and doing a little bit of watching. And he said he was a little more animated during the second intermission, and still couldn't get the guys to pick it up in the third. It's
nice to see that first period and the fact that they played well and they got a little confidence. But I think it's the key for them is being able to take what they did successfully in that first period and continue on for period number 2 and period number 3. And I think those are some of the things that they're trying to build for as the season continues.
Well, and to their credit, Coach Mo also told me that talking to the Totino coaches afterward, he says, this is a team that's played well against some of the top teams in the conference. He said that is the most we've had the game taken to us all season long. Right. And it was done by the Coon Rapids Cardinals. When these guys play, they can play with the best
Absolutely.
of them. But they've got to be able to do it and do it on a more consistent basis. Cardinals host Spring Lake Park on Thursday. Panthers are playing pretty well in their inaugural season in the Northwest Suburban. Then they have a non-conference matchup against a good team coming up from Rochester, John Marshall, on Saturday.
Well, the girls hockey team came into last week's action riding a 4-game win streak, and they knew they'd have 2 very tough conference games on the schedule. Up first, visit from Anoka on Tuesday. Their Tornadoes are struggling a little bit this season, but they have been on the losing end of a lot of close games and certainly would not be a team to be taken lightly. And with this rivalry between the two teams, there was no question the Tornadoes would be pumped up for this game. Great game going from the opening puck drop, but both keepers are up to the challenge. Good chance for the Cardinals in the first. Scarborough stops the shot by Ryan and then squares up to handle the rebound. Chance by Emily Fish. No score in the third period. Cardinals on the power play and bringing the pressure. Scarborough scrambling and keeping the puck in front of her. But Brina Del Castillo is finally able to slip the puck into the net. Coon Rapids a 1-0 lead midway through the third. Anoka's down, but not out. Just about 2.5 minutes left. Haley Miller with a great escape move to the long end wall. Takes out front, but it's a save and can't cover. Carrie Matheny is there to put the rebound home and tie the score and send this one into overtime. Cardinals are going to control most of the extra period. But you know what, Joe? 1 lapse is all it takes. Anna Guimont with a great individual effort, able to slip the pass. A check along the boards, puts her shot top shelf, the short side. Huge win for the Tornadoes in a game that was really mostly controlled by Coon Rapids. And I know you talk to Coach Christopherson all the time. Probably a really tough one for them.
Well, I do get an opportunity to talk to the hockey coaches a lot, as I find myself at the rink a lot, and we cross paths a lot. And she said, they really controlled it, and they felt pretty good about it. And it was another one. We've talked about it all season long. This team playing a lot of games and outplaying their opponents, but not being able to finish and coming away on the losing end, and especially stings against a team like Anoka where you have that great rivalry.
Well, absolutely, and certainly in this conference, an opportunity to get a win, and unfortunately, they lose in the overtime period, and it's always a tough one when you lose to a foe like Anoka.
Absolutely, a lot of extra hockey for the girls hockey team this past week. The Cardinals back at home on Saturday, facing an even tougher opponent, and an opponent with a little bit of a score to settle. Blaine Bengals are playing really well right now. They had won 10 of their last 12, including 7 of the last 8 games since losing to the Cardinals in overtime in early December. Bengals are competing for second place in the conference, and more than anything, they wanted a little revenge. Blaine able to get on the board first, just 3.5 minutes in. Brittany Mosier digs it free from behind the net. She's going to come out, shoot from a bad angle, but it takes a funny bounce and sneaks between Buell's pads. Bengals up 1-0 on a weird one. Cardinals looking to get it back late in the first. Great cross-ice pass to Spring Bailey Ryan down the wing. She's in on a breakaway. The keeper, Michaela Tilton, spreads out to make a great save and preserve the lead for her Bengals. Coon Rapids really controlling the action, but not on the scoreboard. Mosier with a blocked shot early in the second, off to the races, beats Buell stick side. Her second of the game gives Blaine a little breathing room, up 2-0. Cardinals not discouraged, starting the third. Lily Hackett controlling the puck along the boards, plays it out to Heidi Hanula. Quick shot, hits a skate out front and slides home. And you know, one funny bounce deserves another. It's 2-1, just 30 seconds into the third. Coon Rapids just continuing to keep the pressure in the Bengals' end. Hackett tries to play it out front. Broken up, but the puck is going to bounce free. Matty Blomqvist quickly puts it toward the net, tying the game with just under 5 minutes remaining in the regulation. These two rivals go to overtime for the second time this season. Cardinals outshot the Bengals in every period, including OT, but this time it would end in a draw. 2-2 is your final.
Another tough one. Obviously, they would have liked to have gotten the W, but I think the good thing to see, they're down 2-0 going into the third.
Absolutely.
And for them to come back and tie that game gives obviously them a lot of confidence. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the go-ahead goal either later in the third or in that overtime period. But again, Coach Christopherson has to be pleased with the way her team is playing right now.
She was. I texted back and forth with her on Saturday night because I just couldn't wait to find out what the results were. I texted
hopping up and down.
I was kind of. I texted back and forth with her a little bit, and she was incredibly happy with the way they played, the effort they showed, and the fact that they didn't get down when they were down 2-0 going to the third period. They came back. They found a way to tie. She felt they really outplayed them. Ran into Captain Heidi Hanula at the rink again on Sunday. Talked to her a little bit about it, and said, hey, you may have one more chance in the playoffs. And I think the Cardinals would like to see the Bengals. Not so sure Blaine wants to see Coon Rapids again.
I would assume they give them all they can handle.
Well, we get an opportunity to see the girls in action on Tuesday. They're at Andover, and we'll have that game for you live right here on CTN starting at 7:30. That's their only game this week. They're at Centennial a week from Tuesday. Wrestling team, we talked about this last week, a big grudge match coming up. Remember, Elk River beat the Cardinals during the regular season last year, and then the Cardinals paid them back during sections. Well, this year, I think I may have made the bold prediction last night on Sportsnight that the Cardinals would not only beat, but pretty much dismantle the Elk River Elks, and that is exactly what happened. The Cardinals win this one easily, 60-10. There are your 5 pins for the Cardinals. Mosier completing his late in the second period. Baker at 160 right in the middle of that second period. A first period pin for Alex Caldarilla, who's been bumped down to 171 pounds. And then the two big guys, Nick Halsett pinning in 323, and Bailey Ratliff, who has really come on strong since getting the call up to be the varsity heavyweight. He gets the pin in 129. On Saturday, the Cardinals traveled to Monticello for the Monticello Duel. Saw some really good teams. They beat Alexandria in the Battle of the Cardinals in the first round, 42-35. Then they go up against number 3 ranked Shakopee, lose that one 29-24. And then against number 6 ranked AA school, Annandale Maple Lake, in the final, and they lose that one 37-24. There are your 4 guys who finished at 3-0 for the Monticello Duels. Joey Bothwell finished with 2 wins at 152 and another at 160. He did have 1 pin. So did Josh Bryant, who went 3-0, all at 138 pounds. Tyler Berdahl and Michael Bothwell both went 3-0. Both had the benefit of a forfeit in one of the matchups, but Tyler Berdahl also had a pin.
Well, Tyler Berdahl has wrestled really well. The match that we did against St. Francis, I believe that was his first match this year. And he's a huge addition, obviously, to this wrestling squad. They're wrestling well.
They were already really strong in the middle weights, all the way up through the upper weights, and he definitely made them even stronger. And especially when you consider the success Michael Bothwell was having wrestling at 195. And when Berdahl came back, he said, I got to trim a little weight, so he drops down, and he's even stronger.
Yeah, and
very impressive.
As you mentioned, Ratliff, too, as well. Up at the heavyweight, doing a really nice job after winning that wrestle-off earlier in the season and able to compete there now from now on.
Yeah, and I think we saw him against St. Francis. That may have been his first varsity match as well. Cardinals at Andover on Thursday. They will be in Stillwater for an invitational on Saturday. Gymnastics team continues to put up great numbers. A 126.825 in last week's match against Centennial. It's not enough to get them a win over the Cougars, but again, we're talking about how well this team continues to place and the scores they continue to put up. Some of your leaders: Hannah Gross, the best finish on vault at 8.675, gets 4th place. Kennedy Koval was 2nd place on the beam. Hannah Gross 3rd place on the bars. And then look at the floor. Koval in 2nd, Lammers in 3rd, and Mudge in 4th. And I believe it was Koval, Lammers, and Gross finished 3rd, 4th, and 5th in the all-around. So putting up some very, very solid numbers, a 126.825. They've got to be pretty happy with that. Still trying to reach that 130 mark before the end of the season.
They're getting close, and that's good to see because they were hoping to start off in the 120s, and they've been in the mid 120s. I think 127 last week, one score. So that's a good thing to see for the gymnastics squad.
Cardinals will host Champlin Park this Saturday, and then next Saturday they are in Cambridge for a tournament. Swim team took on the Osseo Orioles last week. Again, we talk about this team. They don't have a lot of numbers. They don't have a lot of varsity or a lot of returning experience. And while they're not getting the victories, 35 best times. 35 best times for the Cardinal swimmers in this loss to Osseo. Yeah, they only scored 72 points as a team, but 35 best times in one meet is pretty darned impressive. Austin Frazier picks up a couple of first-place finishes in the 50 and 500 frees. Alex Schmidt won the 100 free in 54.31 seconds. First place finish also goes to the 200 free relay team. Second place finishes go to Alex Schmidt in the 100 back, Aaron Rosso in diving, and Tate Andrews in the 100 fly in a time of 1:13.21. Cardinals will host Park Center on Thursday, and Howie,
we'll be there.
And this is in the email I received from Coach Ford. She says, 35 best times last week. Park Center's a team that they should be able to compete with and maybe even get a victory. And we will be there.
We will be there. Coach Ford said, as long as we can continue to better our times week to week to week, we're going to be okay. We talked about their lack of depth, in terms of amount of swimmers and an opportunity now against Park Center, which will be there. It'll be a lot of fun as always. Should be a good time for them, possibly to get a W here.
Yeah, and it would be great. And again, with the swim team, much like the gymnastics team, they're just trying to improve their scores, their times. Each time they get on the floor, each time they compete, they want to continue to get better. And in the end, both are going to be really individual sports. When it comes to section, they're going to be out there competing for themselves and trying to get to that next level and hopefully get a state entrant or two in both of those sports. Section 7 AA True Team is on Saturday. Nordic team took part in a kind of an unscored sort of thing. 7.5K Classic. They had a 5K distance and a 7.5K. It was with about half of the Northwest Suburban teams. Most of their top guys and girls were running the 7.5K just to get that strength, according to Coach Danny Green. And Paul Breitbach, just a freshman, did very, very well in that longer distance. Finished 4th overall in 28 minutes and 54 seconds. Dan Matthews finished 10th. Ryan Nelson, how about that for grouping? 10th, 11th, 12th, 30-26, 30-27, and even 30-55 is not far back for Ryan. Haida Joe Coughlin finished in 17th place. On the girls' side, Olivia Ellenbecker, also a younger athlete, finishes 3rd overall in that longer distance, 37.06. And then a little bit further back is Victoria Weimholt. Emily Ford not far behind her. They finished 22nd and 23rd. Maggie O'Grady was in 26th. But with the girls, they had a couple of their top girls run that 5K distance just to see how they would compete with some of the other team's top girls. Caitlin Benson finished 11th overall in that. Roberts was 19th, Swanson 23rd, Abby Ellenbecker in 24th. And there again you see that good grouping between those two, 27.09 and 27.13. Izzy Haberman.
Great name.
I
love it.
That's part of the reason I had to include these, because I saw Izzy Haberman. I'm like,
how are you going to fit this in here? It's perfect.
Got to get the name Izzy Haberman as often as I can. That and Galadriel O'Grady. Those are Izzy Haberman. Izzy?
New favorite.
Izzy? Is she? I don't know. It's a female, obviously, but Izzy Haberman. Great name. Love it. This week for the team, they have a 5K skate with Blaine and Irondale on Thursday, and then they will have a 5K Classic with Anoka and Blaine next Tuesday. Alpine ski team competing in race number 2 this past week at Trollhagen, their home hill, and the Cardinals finished 10th. And again, another program that's just trying to get better each and every time out. The boys do have a few more numbers this year. They do have enough to compete as a team. They have more than 7. The girls just the 3. But there's your top finishers: Jacob Bluer in 41st place, Sides in 60th, Garoon in 63rd, Smith in 68th, and Marcellin in 76th. On the girls' side, you've just got the 3. Emma Pearson, though, having a nice year, 14th place overall. And there's, I think, there's 10 teams, or in girls there's 8 teams, so there's 50 or 60. I didn't look how many exactly, but finishing 14th is pretty good. Maddie Bolin in 21st place. Emma Bolin is in 31st place in 1 minute 22.81 seconds. They are at Wild Mountain on Tuesday of this week, and then on Trollhagen next Thursday.
Yeah, the only thing they had to be concerned about, obviously, is the cold, and they've got plenty of snow, quite obviously, and we're going to get warm again as the next few days.
It's coming directly from the CTN meteorologist.
I was up on the roof just before the show, and coming down the pike, we're going to get in the mid-30s in the weekend, so be nice.
I don't like that.
I know, that's why I'm saying concern for the skiers and a little bit of weather conditions to melt some of the snow.
Don't like it.
Okay.
Not a fan.
Are you a fan of basketball?
At times, yeah, absolutely.
Good. Well, the boys' basketball team continues to show signs of improvement, but it's still not quite enough to get over the hump. On Tuesday of last week, the Cardinals traveled to Andover to take on a Huskies team that was just ahead of them in the conference standings. It would be a challenge, but this was clearly a team they could play with and possibly beat. Tight game early on, and the Andover holding on to the lead. The Huskies find Corbin Johnson with room on the wing. He buries the 3 and increases the lead to 7. This is a part of a major run for the home team. Same spot on the floor, different shooter. This time, it's Taylor Goltz with the open look, and he hits another big 3. All of a sudden, Andover's on top by 15. Cardinals are able to mount a comeback before the break. They force the turnover. A long down court pass finds Peyton Foy behind the defense for the easy basket. We're late in the half. Cardinals possession in the Andover end. It goes to Sam Carver, right back to Foy for the reverse layup, and the deficit is back down to 9 at the break. Coon Rapids carrying the momentum into the second. Sam Carver working hard down low. He had a great night with 15 points and 12 boards. Cardinals refusing to back down. Great movement on this play. They find Foy open in the corner. He hits the 3. Game is tied at 45. Foy with 13 on the night. Same score. Cardinals working quickly in transition. Dale Lowell hits another 3-pointer. It's only points of the game, but it gives Coon Rapids a lead. This one's going down to the wire. Blake Hartman drawing the defense to the lane and kicking it out for Goltz. Hits another 3 to put the Huskies up by 1. Buries that one. Final minute, Cardinals in the front by 1, but the Huskies staying hot from the perimeter. Johnson will drain another long 3 to put Andover up 64-62. We're down to 35 seconds remaining. Timmy Wynn driving to the lane, can't get to the ball, but gets his own rebound. Then a questionable call for offensive fouls. He tries to go back up. Coach O can't believe it, but Andover hits their free throws and holds on for the 66-62 win. Coach O get upset about
getting animated?
Never seen it before.
Never happened. Well, I'll tell you what, I watched that highlight over and over and over again going, that you called that an offensive foul. How? His feet were still moving, but it's hard to argue with the guys in stripes.
It's not an easy job being an official, and sometimes you call it the way you see him. Maybe you didn't see it the way some other people do, but that's the way that official saw it.
I mean, and really hats off to I'm not sure who the player was that got that, but if I'm wrong that his feet weren't moving and he was planted, great job getting in possession, in position, and keeping Wynn locked down below the net so that he couldn't get back into position to possibly score. But that's a tough call, especially in that spot. I mean, if Wynn hits the basket, it's a tie game with under 30 seconds left. Instead, no opportunity to hit that shot, and they go down, hit their free throws, and win. Tough way for the Cardinals to lose. Don't know. You have a tight, good, up-tempo game like that. Don't know what happened the next time they hit the floor, but it was not pretty when they took on the Totino Grace Eagles on Thursday. They lose this one 75-41. Sam Carver, nice game, but broke his streak of double-doubles. Only had 9 boards, according to the Hub. But look at how the points drop off. 17 for Carver. Timmy Wynn had just 5. Chris Buckley and Tyrion Johnson, 4 points each. Cardinals, a tough week coming up. They're at Osseo on Tuesday, and then they host Maple Grove on Thursday. That is a real tough back-to-back schedule.
Yeah, and Carver playing well. You look at his last 5 games. He hasn't had a game where he hasn't rebounded less than 7, and he's had, as you mentioned, a couple double-doubles. He's averaging almost 13 points a game, 8.5 boards a contest, playing really well for the Cardinals right now.
Absolutely. Coming off their back-to-back wins in a holiday tournament, the girls basketball team is hoping to keep their momentum going as they return to conference play last week. Couldn't have been much more difficult as they would host the division-leading Andover Huskies on Tuesday. Andover came in at 7-2 and undefeated in conference play. Huskies are young, but they are playing well and putting up some impressive numbers. Cardinals trying to set the tempo early in this one. Nice movement from Cheyenne Siner to Kaylee Porish down low. She scores, and Coon Rapids has the early lead, but the Huskies leaders spark a rally. Jolene Danager, pretty impressive young ball player. Great move to get to the baseline and score. That was the start of a 10-2 run that put Andover in control. Cardinals not backing off. Megan Morehouse finds some room, stops, pops, and drops. That one from 10 feet. It's a one-possession game. But Andover finished the first half with an 11-0 run, and they were in control to start the second. Ariel Arness scores underneath, put the Huskies on top by 15. Cardinals trying to cut into the lead. Great look by Wilkins to find Carly Anderson at the top of the key. She hits the 3, but it's still a 10-point deficit. That's about as close as it would get. Huskies keeping their distance and able to control the game. Danager with an open look, hits a jumper late in the game. She was held to just 7 points, well below her average. Still leads the team to the 48-31 win. And the Cardinals follow that up with a little bit better played game against the Eagles from Totino Grace, but they come up 3 points shy of losing 43-40. Kaylee Porish leads the scoring with 20. Cheyenne Siner had 9. 3 points each from Marina Nyberg, Jessica Kohler, and Megan Morehouse.
A nice game for Porsche. We were at that game, the Andover game.
Yes.
You got to be impressed with the way Andover really controlled that basketball game. The Cardinals, got about a nice start in the beginning.
Outside of 3 minutes, though, that's right. A ball game.
Well, it was a ball game, but unfortunately,
3 minutes to end the first half. That's when they went on that 11-0 run, and that was the ball game.
That was the ball game, and that made it very difficult. But impressed with the way Andover played in that contest,
especially as young as they are. Cardinals host Osseo on Tuesday, at Maple Grove on Friday. Also, tough back-to-back games for them to try and get their first conference victory of the season. We will see the girls hockey team on the road on Tuesday, live from Andover at 7:30, Cardinals and the Huskies. And then on Thursday, swimming from the pool at Northdale Middle School. Park Center and Coon Rapids take the deck at 6 o'clock. On Tuesday of next week, another chance to see the girls basketball team as they host Park Center. That's going to do it for this edition of Sportsnight. I want to thank everybody else for joining us to continue to support everything we do here at CTN. To the entire crew, including Howard Shapiro, I'm Joe Young. So, good night.